Hello, and welcome to Easy Does It. I am Easy. This is Season 2. Congratulations, you have made it to Season 2 of Easy Does It. Oh, man. The Bears are really good this year. I think things are going very well for us. Obviously, offense looks like it's really clicking, firing on all cylinders. Just really, they have an offensive identity. They're really moving the ball well, playing really good. All three phases of the game, complementary football. A lot of consistency there. They're taking what the defense gives them, and defensively, they're getting to the quarterback, making really good plays. They're playing football. No, I can't keep going with this. It's been very bad, obviously, needless to say. Currently I'm just kind of reflecting what a lot of Chicago fans have been saying for a very long time. And, it's been a lot of lather, rinse, repeat with these Chicago Bears. I want to start this show, though, start the new season with something a little bit unconventional. Maybe, not exactly the this is going to be some terrible podcasting. So bear with me for a minute. All right. I'm going to tell a joke. Okay. This is a joke that I thought of the other day while I was going to bed. And I promise you, the joke has a point. But here's the joke. All right. So, did you hear about the old Vikings coach who was given, free marijuana for life, free weed for life? Did you hear about that? Yeah. Well, he got a Bud grant. Get it? Because Bud Grant. Anyway, here, let me tell you the joke again. So you hear about the Vikings coach who got free marijuana for life. Yeah, he got a Bud Grant. Okay, now I'm going to tell it one more time. No, stay with me. Don't leave. I promise. It's going to be good this time. So did you hear about the old Vikings coach, old Minnesota Vikings coach who got free marijuana for life? He got a Bud Grant. See, okay, I know you're thinking like, what are you doing, Elijah? Why are you telling the same joke over and over? It's because I want to emphasize a point, especially given how bad the joke is. I think it's important to know that when you try something over and over and over again, the exact same way, it's not going to work. All right. By the third time, it's going to work even less. It's just going to get worse and worse as it goes. And the point I'm making here is at the end of the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 5 days ago, the Bears did what I think is the stupidest thing I've ever seen the Chicago Bears do on the football field. And that is saying a lot because the Bears have done a lot of stupid shit on the football field. I remember, going for it, having a 2nd and 1 against Carolina in 2008 and 3 running plays in a row. None of them worked. Jason McKee gets stuffed. Love Jason McKee, but man, just, maybe a little ingenuity there. Give it to your running back. But at least, they were saying, all right, I'm going to help you out here. Like, I'm going to give the ball to the fullback. I'm going to, what we're going to do. And, you got to try to stop it. And they just got stopped. Right. I've seen, Matt Nagy do all this cutesy wootsy shit, try to get first downs late in games and, just refuse to give the ball to either David Montgomery, Jordan Howard, whatever, and that's pretty dumb. But the fact that the Bears tried the exact same screenplay 3 times in a row. And Tampa knew it was coming, by the way. Like after the game, Shaq Barrett, he basically said, like, yeah, I knew. Like, we all knew what play was coming because they had just run it 2 times before. And that is true. They ran the exact same play 3 times in a row. And so, of course, it's not going to land the 3rd time you run it. They're lucky it ran the second. They're lucky it landed the second time they ran it. Although, it didn't really land because Chase Claypool was called for holding downfield. So, yeah, of course, the first 2 times they run it, there were penalties. But, by the 3rd time, you don't think the defense is going to be a little bit wise to it. That's an offensive coordinator problem. That's a coaching problem. I also think, at a certain point, I'd like to see Justin Fields, quarterback, take a little liberty and decide to, maybe call a different play. Maybe audible, change things up a bit because, you're just not going to win football that way. I'm going to show the play. I'm going to show it because I have to show it. It's painful. It's not fun to watch, but here it is.
Out of his own end zone, intercepted by Shaq Barrett, fighting at the goal.
That is the single worst thing I have ever seen the Chicago Bears do. And again, that is saying a lot. That is saying a lot. Unbelievably stupid. I mean, look at it. Even aesthetically, the orange on the orange with the orange helmets and the orange jerseys and the orange socks, just grotesque amounts of orange. You see the sun coming in there. It very much feels like a Florida afternoon, 3 p.m. It feels like 3 p.m. in Florida. You got this like foreboding school the next day feeling or work the next day feeling. Terrible vibes all the way around, terrible uniforms, and probably the dumbest, no, not probably, just objectively the dumbest play I've ever seen. Yeah. So that was absolute disaster. And hopefully the Bears can figure this out because it's just kind of annoying being in week 3, going into week 3, and it already feels like the season's over. Like you're already looking ahead to next year's draft. You're already looking ahead to, props to the Panthers for losing 2 straight games. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of a disaster in Chicago right now. Anyway, I'm going to welcome on my co-host, Antonio, otherwise known as Crooked Commish. He is guest hosting the show, and he is new to Chicago Clubhouse Network. So here he is. How's it going, Crooked Commish? Welcome to the show.
Oh, fantasy-wise, it's going good.
2-0, Crooked. Real crooked.
Hey, what can I say? I know my football. But reality, when it comes to my real football team, man, that's a fucking nightmare. Man, that scenario you drew up in the beginning sounded so nice. That was the way it was supposed to go. That was the NFL script, how we thought in our head, like that was how it was going to start off. That was season 2 or year 2 for Justin Fields under this offense.
How cool would that have been, right? If we could say like, yeah, like they've improved so much. They're taking what the defense gives them. They're moving the ball. It sucks. It really sucks.
Honestly, at this point, like I would have thought in year 2, there's at least a handful of plays, 5 plays that we run really well. Like we run it perfectly. We don't fuck up these plays, whether it be running or passing or play action. There should be a certain amount of plays where it's just like, it doesn't matter if the defense knows it's coming. We run it so well, we block it so well that, we're going to get some positive yardage out of it.
Yep. So the Eagles
everything looks like they're throwing shit on the wall to see what the hell works, what's sticking, what's good, and then when they do gash them in the run game, they're like, okay, yeah, we know that we can do that every once in a while, and then they go away from it and they start throwing the ball a lot.
And I'd never understand why, and this is like, something they've always done, feels like going back to the Cutler days, is just like they go away from the run game even when it's working. I don't know if you watched the Thursday night game, not yesterday, but the week before with the Eagles and the Vikings. Basically, there's a time the Eagles were struggling to move the ball early in the game, and then Nick Sirianni just at one point decided, you know what? F it. We're just going to run the ball. We're just going to keep
Right.
running the ball. We're going to pound the rock. And sure enough,
that's when they got a steady diet of Swift.
They got Swift in there. They started pounding the rock with Swift. And, he was just chipping away, getting yards, just getting yards after yards after yards. And they ran like the same inside zone play like 7 times in a row. And they got the ball downfield. I think eventually it opened up one quick pass from Hurts to A.J. Brown. And then they got a touchdown and, changed the game. It gave them all the momentum. And it just pains me because I know the Bears have talent. Like, I don't think they have like an A.J. Brown on their team, but DJ Moore's like a pretty damn good receiver. I think Mooney's a really good too. And it's like, you just want to see them do things like that. Like, why not run the ball if running's working? And the thing is, the Bears, that toss play that they run to Roschon Johnson, that seems to work really well. A lot of the under center stuff seems to be working really well for them. Like, why do they not do that more?
I don't know. Like I said, it almost feels like they're still in a training camp mode and trying to just like, okay, let's see what plays will work right now. What plays go? Okay, that play worked. Okay, cool. We'll put that in our back pocket now that we know that play somewhat works, And then they don't go back to it, or they're like, oh, we ran it once. They're going to know it's coming again, so we can't run it again. But they're going to do screens.
Like in good football is when like the best football to watch is when the other team knows what's coming and they're still not able to stop it. And that's a common thing. That's like, like there's situations back when, obviously it's, well, okay, like with Montana and Rice. Like, yeah, they know Jerry Rice is going to get the ball, but they're still going to throw it to him because it's going to work. There's times when, the Vikings with Adrian Peterson, you knew he was going to get the run. He was going to get the ball on 3rd and short, but they were still going to convert. I know the Bears don't have like a Rice or a Peterson on this team, but it's still like, that doesn't mean you can't adhere to that philosophy of football where we are just going to be bigger and stronger and we're going to move you out of the way. Like, we are going to be more prepared. We're going to, know how to
impose our will on you.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's why it's especially frustrating because I do think they have some talented pieces. I think Roschon Johnson has been really good. I think he could be the focal point of this offense. Take the load off of Justin Fields. Obviously, Khalil Herbert, still a pretty good running back. It just seems like when they go under center, they're able to get more yards. And maybe I need to go back and watch the film and just make sure I'm right about that. But it seems like whenever the Bears are under center, they're just much more likely to gain yards than when they're in the shotgun or when they're in the pistol or whatever. But maybe I'm wrong about that. But it just, like, I've seen them. I don't know. I've seen them break off some chunk running plays in that formation, or just when they're under center. And then the defense is still just like, and this is something, I grew up. We grew up just watching really great Bears defenses, so it's weird seeing. It's still always going to be weird to me to see these guys just not give as much
giving
effort.
Up 30 points.
Yeah, giving up 30 points or, somewhere in that ballpark. And not being able to stop the run's a big thing. They can't do it. They just can't. They get gashed. Even like 3rd and 6 from the goal line, 3rd and goal from the 6 or whatever is like, the Bucks running
3rd
in
and
on
anything them. Right now. 3rd and anything, it doesn't matter. It's more. It seems like it's getting converted.
Every third down, 3rd and long is when you should feel like,
oh,
this is good. Like, we're gonna stop them. We're gonna get our ass off the field.
I don't even think we've had a 3-and-out series on our defensive side to where maybe we've had one.
I think you might be right. It feels like we have not gotten
anybody to go 3-and-out and then get our offense back on the field.
Yeah, and right now I'm like, obviously I'm desperate for a turnover. We haven't had a turnover in forever. But like, that's one thing. But even worse than that, like, we haven't even had it feels like we haven't even had a 3-and-out. Maybe we have, but I honestly don't know. And the fact that I can't put my
the fact that we
one,
can't think of it may be true. Like I said, it may be one, maybe 2 at the very most. But honestly,
we're
nothing really comes to mind.
So many 3rd and long conversions.
Correct.
Like, just absolutely no pass rush. Week 1 against the Packers, it was like, it felt like the Bears were trying to make things as easy as humanly possible for Jordan Love. It felt like they couldn't get any pressure on him at all. And, I could have sat back there in that zone and, just picked apart that zone. And, it'd be one thing if, like, at least the coverage was holding up. But, there's miscommunications in the secondary. Eddie Jackson, who's been in the league forever, and then, like, Tyreek Stevenson in the same place. And, I got to, I can't be too critical this week because I know Brisker was, or this past week because I knew Brisker was kind of hobbling, and I know I think obviously Kyler Gordon wasn't in the game, and then Eddie Jackson had to leave the game, so the Bears were playing with a lot of backups. Blackwell also wasn't in there, and so that was, like to an extent, I could give them a little bit of a pass for getting dotted up, but like there's absolutely no excuse for letting Mike Evans run behind the defense on 3rd and 14 like that and just get wide open. Like what are you doing? It feels like basic fundamental football. You can't get beat over the top in that situation.
Right. Even if he is pushing off,
yeah, for sure.
You still can't give up that kind of big play. But I mean, I think it's one of those things we all kind of knew coming in. This rookie corner is going to take his lumps. That was one of his welcome to the NFL moments.
Sure.
Mike Evans just taught you a lesson. So,
and I mean, like there was the push off, but there was also the play later in the game where, like, I think it was. I don't have the clip with me now, but it was. I think it was Brisker and Stevenson both went to the same place, and it was like 3rd and 14, and Evans just slipped by them and was wide open.
That's crazy. That's happening on both sides of the ball. You got receivers running to the same place, and then you got defensive people running to the same, like
Cole Kmet almost intercepting, or like playing defense against DJ Moore, basically just knocking the ball out of the air from him on 3rd and 10. And I can't completely absolve the quarterback because I do think Justin Fields, he missed a lot of open reads. He did have time to throw on a lot of the sacks that he took. But at the same time, just given all the shit that's going down at Hallis Hall right now with Alan Williams resigning just spontaneously and with,
that's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what the final result.
I can't blame him for a lot of this dysfunction. He didn't start the dysfunction here. And I wish he could come in and like fix it all, but and he would if he could win some games. But it's just I can't put it all on him because right now Hallis Hall is a clusterfuck. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on what Hallis Hall is looking like right now, and like where are you at with that?
I think it's one thing to hear the GM came on. He's like, hey, no one's panicking. This is no big deal. Not necessarily no big deal, but no one's panicking here. From the top on down, and it's like, okay, you can say that for now, but you keep on losing. That's going to start changing here soon. And because I know to say, oh, no one's panicked. It's kind of like, oh, okay, so then you thought you would be here then. It's kind of like, this is right where we want them, guys. We want them right here, 0-3, and then we're gonna, blindside them. It's just like, okay,
it feels a little far-fetched to me, right? Like,
a little bit, but I mean, GM's doing GM talk. But as far as all the chaos there too, with the defensive coordinator, and one aspect, the offensive side, it's not all his fault, but I'm sure you heard the rumors that were coming out with their defensive coordinator as far as why he's no longer our defensive coordinator. Yep. I've heard rumors on both two different rumors. Both of them are really bad. If the second rumor that we were talking about earlier ends up being true, I think maybe that can explain quite a bit of our defensive woes if he's sabotaging guys in a sense.
Yeah, no, man, I honestly, I almost hope so. I hope that a lot of what's been going on is because, the defensive coordinator has been putting them in positions to fail, because then at least, we know they could improve from there.
Correct. Well, yeah. And I guess we did see some improvement with Eberflus now calling his defense and stuff. Now that it seems like he's going to be the guy from here on out, it should get better and better throughout the season. Granted, if we can stay healthy for the most part and stuff. But I have to say, I think for sure, though, as far as going into this week, I think Justin's comments that he made really put a big bullseye on target on him, whether he realizes it or not. And the reason why, when he says, I got to go back to the old me and play how I used to feel. I feel like I'm thinking too much, too much, is going on in my head. And it kind of reminded me of Any Given Sunday. He wanted to be, I need to hit it my Steamin' Willie Beeman type of moment. I just need to go out there and I just need to feel it, coach. I just need to feel it and stuff. And that's more or less what I got when him saying, you know, I need to stop thinking so much and I just need to start reacting and just start going. So it's like, okay, because that's great. That's what everybody's been saying.
Yes.
Everybody's been saying that. So now going into this week, if it's the same type of shit that we saw the last 2 games where you're barely cracking 200 yards and you have more turnovers than you do touchdowns, then what's your excuse, Justin? Because now you said this week I'm saying I'm going out there and I'm saying F it. You know, I'm just going to play my game.
Yeah,
so if your game ends up in the same results, then it's really, then I think it's the talk of Justin's not the guy is definitely really going to start getting louder.
Yeah, no, he really kind of put the pressure on himself when he made a comment like that. You know, he really kind of like he made things a lot more difficult, and now, you know, like social media is going to be after him, the regular whatever media is going to be after him, and more importantly, the Chiefs are going to be after him. You know, we got a tough ball game ahead of us. You know, all this drama, all this shit, like the shit storm's going down, and you know, meanwhile,
it doesn't help us get focused. That's for sure.
Are waiting. Man, I really did not like the way the schedule was made this year. You know, penciling in a loss week 1 to Green Bay was kind of annoying. But then, you know, moreover from that, immediately going down to Tampa. It's never easy to play in Florida in September. And now we got the champs. Like, Jesus Christ, give us a break. But also, like, I'm not excusing the Bears play because, holy shit, we're bad. We are bad.
Yeah, we definitely have our own issues. But this is definitely KC's. They're looking at us as this is their get-right game.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, we're absolutely the get-right game.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those where I think if for some crazy reason KC blows that game or we end up stealing that game somehow or winning it, that's going to raise the KC's fans' eyebrows of being like, how did you lose to this fucking team?
Yeah.
Like we may really have problems here in KC if we can't beat the Bears who are completely tripping over themselves right now.
Yep.
So
yeah, you know, like how do we lose to a team that had a defensive coordinator resign in the middle of week 2?
Correct.
You know, like how do you lose to a team where the quarterback is blaming the coaching for everything going wrong, and the team that runs 3 of the exact same screen passes in a row? Like I just don't understand it. That being said, it is possible to win. You know, like, you know, any given Sunday, right? The Bears, I'm not saying are going to win because obviously I don't think the Bears are going to win. You know, spoiler alert, and we're going to make our picks later in the show. But yeah. But, you know, any given Sunday, it could happen. And I did put together some highlights of the last time the Bears beat the Chiefs. So I'm going to go ahead and put those up now. And this was in Arrowhead, and some people might remember this game.
Cutler looks left, being rushed, puts it up for the corner for Wilson. He's got it for a touchdown. Smith throws, and it's broken up. All the receivers out. He dropped the ball. Cutler gets it back and throws to Forte for a touchdown.
He drops the ball, keeps his eyes upfield, and throws just a perfect pass.
Yeah, those were
the good old days.
It's sad to say, but those were the days, man. Yeah, that my immediate thought is like, oh yeah, forgot it's possible to win football games in the NFL because you know, lost 12 in a row, and I got a short, you know, I have a long memory, but I got a short memory when it comes to winning because it's been a long friggin' time. But yeah, you know, I remember that game from 2015. 2015, obviously not a great year for the Bears, but it felt like every win they had, like was a meaningful win in some way. We spoiled Brett Favre night at Lambeau Field. We beat the Chargers on Monday Night Football. We beat the Chiefs in that crazy game at the end. You know, I remember just a lot of excitement that year, even if it wasn't a good year. But I don't even think the Bears this year are going to be able to provide any of that. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
With this game here, I think it could be a bloodbath. You know, the only thing that I'm hoping that it's at least competitive. And if Justin can play like he wants to play, like he says, I'm going to go out there and say, F it, and just play my version, play my game. If that means I got to scramble and rush for 100 yards, so be it. So if we get the Justin of last year, it could be as close as a game as Miami was. I didn't think that game would be as close as it was, but it was a shootout, and it was mostly because of Justin, doing.
It was definitely one
stuff.
of the more fun losses the Bears have had.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Dolphins head coach yelling at Justin, telling him to stop it.
Yeah,
stop being so good.
It was awesome. I love Big Daniel. Like I like the Dolphins for him. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I mean, if we get that kind of Justin and have that type of game, I think us as Bear fans coming back and talking to it, even though it would be a loss, we would definitely be sorry about that. We would definitely have a lot more optimism and kind of hope as far as going future. Maybe this offense is turning a corner now or something.
Yep. No, I completely agree, and it's like, and then we got after that the schedule. I don't want to say it gets easier because we're a bad team, so it's hard to have an easy schedule. But we should be able to beat the Broncos. They're kind of reeling. Commanders might be kind of tough. I know they got us last year, but still very young quarterback. You don't really know what you're getting with them. The Vikings have been bad. The Raiders pretty mid. So like, we don't know what we're gonna get in the coming weeks. But man, this game against the Chiefs, the difference between like if we're somehow able to pull out a win against the Chiefs, I don't even know how I feel because I can't fathom the idea that we're even going to win the game. But it would be pretty cool, and it would be definitely give us a lot of confidence going forward. But yeah, right now, like we're kind of in the spot where we're just looking for a moral victory, and which sucks because I hate how much we've been looking for moral victories in the past however many years. Also, something I just completely forgot.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No one's talking about this yet, but we got Matt Nagy. I know I'm not really allowed to say his name on this network, but
Matt Nagy.
We got Matt Nagy. We're going to be going against. I think there is a situation where the Chiefs might try to call some of those weird, cute, dumb plays that Matt Nagy loves to run, especially to get back at his former team. I could see that happening, and I could see hopefully the Bears being able to take advantage of it. But I also know deep down that there's going to be a fake reverse to Kelsey that he's going to like toss back to Sky Moore, and he's going to find Patrick Mahomes in the end zone for a touchdown on some weird play that would never work with the Bears, but of course it works with the Chiefs. I have a feeling they're going to put up like 40, 50 points on that.
Wow, man. I know Nagy would love to hear, or that would be a dream come true for him, because especially if he can run some of the plays that he tried with us and just didn't work out, and I'm sure he's going to try the Kelsey up the middle, that sneak, tight end sneak, and then that's going to go for like 5 yards.
The Chiefs give a shit. It's like they will probably try to play like that, and it probably will.
Well, they pay attention to details and they hash those out.
Exactly. It's a very detail oriented team, and and that's kind of like a lot of what Andy Reid's MO is. And also one thing you got to be able to like keys to win for the Bears is obviously you got to get pressure on Mahomes. Not really sure how, but you got to do something. But the thing is, Mahomes is so good against the blitz that you can't really blitz. So really, those front four, like those guys, really got to come to play if they want to win. But you also got to keep them in the pocket because you can't let him like run around and make all those crazy throws. We're fucked, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you just described the perfect weapon right there. So, I mean, all of that's true, but our front four hasn't gotten to any quarterback this season or put really any much pressure by themselves at all. Yep. So it's just like it's going to flip a switch and happen now against this team. I guess the guy that throws sidearms for 20 yards and still completes it without looking,
we're expecting a defense whose defensive coordinator just quit. A defense who gave up, 3 touchdown passes to both Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. A defense who cannot stop the run. A defense with a depleted secondary. And
I think it was only 1 touchdown to Mayfield
and Hallis Hall. And look, by the way, props to Mayfield. Yeah, he played well. But But like we're expecting a defense like this to stop the best quarterback on the planet, the best quarterback on the planet, and it's not even close. Like it's gonna be. I think you said it best when you said it's gonna be a bloodbath. We might as well make our final score predictions. I'll go ahead and say I remember in 2004 we played the Colts. We were bad. Chad Hutchinson, I think, was our quarterback then, or maybe it was Krenzel still, or Jonathan Quinn. Being a Bears fan is very sad.
I mean, all Pro Bowlers there, all those guys you just named.
Oh, we got a comment from Jeremy Bauman. Yeah, Nagy's going to run Santa's sleigh where a lineman scored a touchdown. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Jones get in the game. Honestly, like if I was a betting man, I put a premium on Chris Jones scoring a touchdown one way or another. I could really see it happening. I don't know why. His first game back, I feel like Nagy will let him find the end zone. But yeah, I mean, my final score. I remember we lost. I think that game 41-10. It was in Chicago. I think that's pretty likely. I'll give us a little more credit on offense because I do think we'll get some garbage time stuff. So I'm going to say 41-17. We're going to get our asses handed to us. That's my prediction. Okay. What are you thinking, Crooked?
I think that's pretty accurate. I damn near nailed down last week's prediction. I was thinking 27-14, and it ended up being 27-17. Right. So I think the Chiefs are definitely going to score more points. I was thinking more like 38. When you said 41, that sounds about right. But I'm hoping the bleeding stops around 38.
Yeah, right. That's what we're hoping for.
I think 38-10. I maybe we get a touchdown somehow, somewhere. There's a blown coverage, or who knows if special teams does something, because that was one of the few bright spots with the last game with the block punt. Maybe we block another one and return it this time. I don't know. So
and that's what I'm hoping for, like some kind of turnover, some freak play, maybe a couple freak plays that just kind of change the momentum of the game. What really sucks right now is the afternoon slate is we got Panthers at Seahawks, which, I mean, I'm going to be watching that, obviously rooting for the Seahawks. I want that number one pick. And the Seahawks should win because the Panthers are bad and the Seahawks are at home and they're pretty good. We got the Chiefs.
But it's Andy Dalton and not Bryce Young.
Oh yeah, that's true. Which
honestly, if it was Bryce Young, I mean, it's just not that Andy Dalton's a future Hall of Famer or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but he's an NFL established quarterback. He has experience. He knows how to somewhat read a defense, at least better than Bryce Young.
Yeah, they might be able to make some more plays. They'll take whatever the defense gives them. I think it's closer with Dalton than it would be with Young because Young's been very, very conservative, almost alarmingly so early on in the season. But yeah, I think that's the most interesting game by far. I do think the Seahawks will, of the afternoon, that is. The Seahawks will win that one, though, I think. Then we got obviously Bears going to Kansas City. We're going to get blown out. And the Cowboys going to play the Cardinals in Arizona. The Cowboys should win that game by 2 or 3 touchdowns too. So really, the afternoon slate sucks. And right now, the main thing I'm gonna be enjoying is hopefully the Seahawks beating the Panthers and just burying Carolina. Nothing personal, nothing against the Panthers, but we want them to lose as much as they can this year. I got Jeremy saying, by the way, thanks for tuning in, Jeremy. Chris Jones is going to live in the backfield on Sunday. Yeah, that's true. He is. He's I could see that. I think he'll have. I could see him having 3 sacks against us. I seem to remember him doing really well against us back in 2019 when we played in that really sad end of season Sunday night game. When we were already out of the playoffs, we lost like 26-3. It was just brutal all the way around.
Yes, that loss. Yes, that's yes. I remember that one as well.
Yeah, it was
very familiar loss.
Yeah, very, very not fun at all. On the bright side, we do have like the morning games. I want to talk a little bit about the rest of the league. Obviously, you're a fantasy guy, so you know your shit, your football. My fantasy team, I don't know. I don't know what my record is in your league, but I can't imagine it's very good because I have Travis Kelce, and he hasn't done much yet. Yeah.
Right. So you had the 1 pick.
Yeah, I had the 1 pick, and I wanted Kelce too, because he's the most value at any position. But yeah, no, okay. The 1 pick, in a 32-man league isn't necessarily the best, but at least I got a great tight end out of it. But yeah, so we got an interesting slate. We got the Falcons and Lions could be an interesting game. Obviously, we'll be rooting for the Saints in Green Bay, which be
I mean, we'll be rooting for the Falcons as well. So especially since I got Bijan Robinson, I'm going to be rooting for the Falcons real hard.
Oh yeah,
so
of course. I got Pitts in one of my leagues because I keep on falling for Kyle Pitts.
I stayed away this time.
Smart.
I had him the first 2 years, and finally this time I said enough is enough. Like I'm not going to buy into the hype, just like I shouldn't have bought into the hype with the Bears this season.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. That's kind of where I'm at with everything too, and it's but obviously I made the mistake, but at this point I'm like I won't make that mistake again. And the problem is it's really not even like Pitts is getting double, triple teamed a lot. I watched some of the film and it's like they are bracketing him. They really don't want to lose to him because he's such a dynamic athlete. But yeah, it's just not really going to help your fantasy team too much. But yeah, I do think Detroit. I think Detroit will win that one, but obviously I will be rooting for the Falcons. It's kind of a surprising 2-0 start there. Chargers Vikings. Let's battle of 2 0-2 teams, two very chaotic teams.
Two teams that have quarterbacks that are not losing games for their teams. Like Kirk Cousins played out of his mind last night. They had a great game. Justin Herbert is playing, at a Pro Bowl level and stuff. So,
and I'd argue, and this is something that I've said for a little while, is that like the Chargers and Vikings are kind of parallel universe versions of each other in that they've had some really good teams over the years, and they have some really interesting stories, and they've had their moments, but both teams have had some of the most heartbreaking losses I could ever imagine. Like on the bright side, the one thing about being a Bears fan that's okay is at least we can make fun of them a little bit, whereas the Chargers and Vikings have had just some of the most agonizing L's. And I went to school in San Diego, and then I moved to LA around the time the Chargers moved from San Diego to LA. So I surround myself with some of the few Charger fans in existence, and they've had it hard. But I do think the Chargers will win that game. But that's those are two teams that desperately need to win, which means it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And if they do win, we won't be sharing the cellar alone. We'll have company there with Minnesota.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hopefully we'll be hanging out with Minnesota. Like, hey, bottom feeders, let's go. The Bears go 0-6. I want to address these comments. Did they trade Fields and give up and hope for 2 of the top 3 picks?
Oh man!
If we're 0-6,
you want to go first with that one?
Yeah. Honestly, at that point, I'd be fine with it. Like, I don't think that Fields is ever going to be like. At this point, I can't, and it sucks for me to say this because I don't want to give up on the guy, but I don't think he's going to ever be like top tier elite. Whereas, and I don't see why people are so hyped on Caleb Williams, but he a lot of people smarter than me really, really think he's going to be the next big thing. So if it means getting Caleb Williams next year, I wouldn't hate. I mean, I'd hate starting over, but at a certain point, what else are you going to do? So I guess I would be okay with giving up on Fields and hoping for 2 of the top 3 picks. That being said, I like Justin Fields, and I still think he could be a pretty good quarterback. So I hope it just doesn't get to that point.
Right.
I don't know. What's your take?
Well, before I give mine, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in right now. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, like the channel.
Absolutely.
We'll be here every Friday doing this. So if you like what you see, please just smash that thumbs button. If we're 0-6, I think I would be definitely okay with that. I think the interesting question is what could we realistically get for Fields at that point?
Right.
If he's even, touchdown to interception ratio, it's even,
and he's fumbling and all that.
Right. Yeah. And stuff like that. And just not looking too good, and is dinged up or something like that. like, yeah, I would definitely trade him at that point, but it's like, what are we getting? And if it's something where we're just going to get a fifth rounder or sixth rounder pick, and it's at the back end of that draft as well, it's just like, man,
It's
I don't
not
know.
a great return on
I guess,
investment, that's for sure.
yeah, that's where it's just like, man, I mean, it's tempting. Your gut reaction is just to be like, yeah, getting the hell out of here. We don't have nothing else to lose. But
And
then,
also, like, who's
and then
gonna
does
want it?
Bajent start the rest of the other 11 games there, or the other 10 games to finish out the season, or do we rock with
Right.
Nathan Peterman?
Oh God.
Um,
I can't.
so
It's so bad. Nathan Peterman is one of the worst quarterbacks of all time, and I've seen some bad quarterbacks. Right? We've seen Jonathan Quinn. We've seen Craig Krenzel. We've seen
right,
Caleb Haney. Like,
yes.
we've seen Todd Collins. Like, hey, it's so
Who was
bad.
the one guy? Gosh, who was the black guy that was on our team? Always a Burris or something like that.
Henry Burris.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. There's
yeah.
another
No,
one where it's just like, Shane Matthews and stuff like
yeah,
that.
Shane
Those type
Matthews.
of guys.
That's some really bad ones.
It's just like,
Cordell Stewart was fun, but he was at the end of his career. Like, Rex Grossman, obviously. Like, we've had some
yeah,
real, and I love Sexy Rexy, but like, man, we've had some real shitty quarterbacks over the years, and yeah, and I still think Nathan Peterman might be worse than all of them. But that being said, it's also like, yeah, like to address what you said about Bajent or Badgent, whatever his name is. Yeah, I guess you'd probably want to rock with him. That being said, he's not exactly very skilled. I mean, like,
yeah.
there's a
But then at
reason.
that point, you're not
Look,
trying to win
there's a
games.
reason he
So,
went undrafted and whatnot. But like at the same time, there's like there have been some guys who have been passed up on or who have been undrafted who ended up being really, really good. Obviously, Tom Brady, it was a 6th-round pick.
right.
Brock Purdy,
Um,
is playing really well. Obviously, he's in an ideal
Mr.
situation in San
Irrelevant. Yeah,
Francisco, but he was Mr. Irrelevant. Tony Romo, undrafted, great career. Kurt Warner,
yeah.
undrafted. They just made a movie about him. Like there's just a lot of guys sometimes scouts are not able to tell how good a quarterback's going to be, and some guys are late bloomers. So yeah, maybe Badgett is the next best thing. However, hopefully we don't get to the point where we have to start him, because hopefully Justin Fields, starts balling out. And how cool would it be? Like I always put myself in that mindset of like, man, can you imagine if just Fields starts balling out, next thing you know, we just go on like a 6-game win streak. But very much a pipe dream, of course. But yeah,
I mean, well,
I'm open to trading Fields is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know. At this point, it would almost be like, if we're still going to have a bad record with him, because we're 0-6, so we're obviously losing with him. And if it continues that way, we're still going to have a crappy pick. We still have him under the rookie contract. We can still draft our rookie quarterback and then really and just have them both kind of go at it there and stuff. And, it would be the writing on the wall for Fields as far as like, hey, you're playing for an opportunity for somebody else. Or if you can't even beat out this rookie that the Bears just drafted, then that says a lot about, your career there. So it's just.
Go ahead.
It's just trading him. Like, I think if we could get something decent, yeah. But I mean, if we're getting a 7th-rounder, 6th-rounder, man, it just feels like.
It feels like it'd be more productive at that point to bench him than to trade him.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, but
I at a certain point, yeah, like I'd rather bench him, see what we have in Badgett, because I feel like you wouldn't. First of all, you wouldn't get much return on investment. You wouldn't you'd probably get like a 5th or 6th at best. Secondly, I mean, at a certain point, you got to just kind of keep him in the fire, like let him, either see what you got in Badgett and let Fields sit on the bench for a while, or just let him keep trying to hack it, and eventually maybe by the end of the year you'll see him put together some good games. You never know. The thing is, I'm hoping something just clicks eventually, and like we've seen flashes, like the first drive of the game on Sunday, And that second to last drive or third to last, whatever, with when you hit Claypool for the touchdown, like
yes,
like if we're able to see that more consistently, then then maybe you do have something in him. And I guess just rolling with him. So I guess if we're gonna trade Fields, I'd hope it wouldn't happen until after the season. I guess that's kind of my bottom line.
Right. Yeah, and I think that would be the smarter one. I think we could really get probably the best bang for our buck. He would have a full body of work to show for, and then teams could kind of go in at that point. We'd have more teams as far as who's looking for a quarterback, who would be interested, instead of right now mid-season. It's going to be hard to bring in a quarterback, implement them into your system, and actually have them be useful, so
exactly.
I don't know. But
I'm just kind of at the point where it's like, oh man, it's being a Bears fan is rough. But I'm kind of at the point where like ride it out with Fields for however long. We'll probably lose a bunch of games this year, but also the Panthers don't look much better than we do, and so I could see a scenario where we end up going, like where we have 2 top 5 picks. And those could turn easily into either Caleb Williams, who is supposed to be the next best franchise quarterback, or a, like a Marvin Harrison Jr. type receiver who's just like if he's anything like his pops, he's a game changer. But yeah, it'd just be nice to finally get something going in Chicago. Also, Jeremy. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Cricket.
No. Go ahead with the comment. You have a comment?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say. Jeremy says, yeah, $100,000 worth of equipment got stolen from Soldier Field today.
I saw that.
What else could go wrong? Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that, but just kind of course, right? Just comedy of errors. When you're down, you're down.
It's so weird. I was thinking in my head too. Like, I'm just like, all this shit's going on lately, and I'm thinking, I was like, man, this is going to be 5 straight years that the Packers are going to sweep us. Not just beat us, but sweep us. Going on, because I don't know if we're going to beat them here at the end of the season the way they were playing, if not something doesn't turn around. So 5 consecutive years that they're looking towards on sweeping us, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man, like, where's rock bottom at? Because once we get to rock bottom, it starts going the other direction. Exactly. And it's like, I'm looking at all this shit, I'm just like, how have we not hit rock bottom yet? Like, we're getting our equipment fucking stolen from us now.
I thought, this
has to be rock bottom. Come on, man.
I thought rock bottom was when we were like, I thought rock bottom was when we were down like 42-0 at halftime to the Packers.
To the Green Bay?
2014 on Sunday night. And Julius Peppers, like pick 6 Jay Cutler. The year after we got rid of Julius Peppers. I thought on the great side, it's only uphill from here, man. It can't get worse than this. Like, this is as bad as it gets. And then sure enough, 2 years later, it's 2016. Great for the Cubs, obviously, but I was less into the Bears that year because I was so into the Cubs run. But like, we had 2 bad years in a row, 16, 17, then obviously 18, which
18 was a magical season. I had a feeling, because that's when we had Vic Fangio and our defense, and then the new coach came in, Nagy, and I was like, I'm hoping he keeps Vic because our defense was starting to gain momentum and I think turning the corner, and he did. So I was like, okay, cool. And that's when we had 18 and the defense was hitting on all cylinders. We stayed relatively healthy.
Mac was great.
Nagy, it was Nagy's first year and everything was working because nobody has seen his plays before.
Tariq Cohen was also healthy, which was huge.
Correct. I think that was his rookie year too.
Mm-hmm. But people don't realize, like, when you have a little guy like that, like a Tariq Cohen or Darren Sproles, not many others come to mind, but like what that does to a defensive coordinator's game plan, it's like those guys are like nightmares to game plan for. People forget.
Correct. If they're used the right way and whatnot.
Sure. Right.
But now all the Nagy shit was working because it was his first year. And then, like a damn clown, he goes into years 2, 3, and 4, not change, running the same exact damn game plays, same plays, as if people don't study the tape on the team.
Right.
Look at formations
at all.
And then it got so goddamn embarrassing at his last season that other teams were running Nagy's plays against us and pulling them off for more yards than we could.
Yep. It became
it was just like,
it became a
what is
comedy.
going on here?
And it's
How
like maybe this
embarrassing.
is rock bottom. Maybe maybe
Yes.
this is where we finally hit our wall. Of just like we're terrible. Like this is as
Right.
bad as things get. But sure enough, no, that's not it. We gotta wait until Aaron Rodgers yells, "I fucking own you guys" in the end zone. We gotta wait until
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
like we still got we got to wait until Aaron Rodgers finally has that serious injury when he's with the Jets, and it doesn't matter to us anymore.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm just saying
Yeah.
it was like I don't know when rock bottom is going to be, but I'm just gonna try to enjoy what I can out of this free fall, and hopefully, things eventually just turn around. But
Well, I have a question real quick.
Go for it.
So, okay, so we go into next season, say the season continues to go as bad as it is, and we have 2 top 5 picks. Great, that sounds good on paper, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, do I really trust this coaching staff to develop Caleb Henny or the BYU quarterback, whatever they're going to get their quarterback,
Caleb Williams, yeah,
Caleb Williams or whatnot, like whoever they get. Is this coaching staff? Do I really feel safe with this rookie player in this coach's hands to where I think Getsy or Eberflus is going to develop him into a Pro Bowl quarterback for the next 8 years?
That's a good question, and no, I don't trust him at all. Not even a little bit.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be very, very bad if they stick with these guys. That being said, depending on how Washington does this year, I think it'll be interesting to look into hiring a Bieniemy. For whatever reason, he's not a head coach, but even just as like an offensive coordinator, I'll take it. Really any offensive-minded guy, but really, I just want someone who's proven. Someone who's shown that he could win. Like they should be calling Bruce Arians every day. Like they should be, like
we missed the boat on that one.
What'd you say?
We missed the boat on that one. We had a
We
chance to get
missed
Bruce.
the fucking boat by getting Mark Trestman like a bunch of idiots.
Jesus. Yeah.
Look what Arizona got to a championship game after that.
Yeah. They did. They were damn close to getting their first Super Bowl, and then he goes and finishes his work over in Tampa, with the GOAT and stuff. So, but
honestly, even like, I was really interested in Todd Bowles, but like, and this is something that I get roasted for on the network all the time. I would have loved to see the Bears at least try to get Jim Harbaugh, because Harbaugh has always beaten the Packers, for one thing. I think he's 4-0 against Green Bay, and when he's been in the NFL, like all he's done is win for the most part. Like he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but like 2 conference championships and 1 Super Bowl appearance. Like I would have loved to have him because he's just maniacal about winning. So we need someone who, first of all, understands modern offense, and secondly, someone who's proven that he's done it. And I'm already like, Eberflus is on very, very much a hot seat. So like, yeah.
Yes, I would be okay with Harbaugh because I feel like at least would have some fire. Like losing, he would be slamming tables and shit like that and be yelling. I feel like if I could be a fly on the wall into the film review that the Chicago does, I feel like Eberflus is out there. It's kind of like, all right, so guys, here we go. Braxton, you whiffed on this, missed this tackle here. You had good form there, but we just got to wrap it up. Be a little bit better on that, and block that a little bit better.
No, I want to see someone.
It's just like, no, fuck that. Stick a boot up their fucking ass, man. I want to see some fire. Like,
no, we got to have passion, and like you got to have like a motivational coach is what you want. You want someone who's like, obviously it's a cliche, but someone who you run through a wall for, someone who like actually lights a fire under these guys' asses, and or at least someone.
Surprised Mike Singletary never did too well.
Yeah, no, Mike Singletary, I feel like there was just like a disconnect because Singletary saw the game better than anyone else, and he was also just like a really elite player, and so like I feel like him as a coach didn't work out because he was, like he kind of expected the same level of greatness out of all his players, whereas it was really just him. That's why you got guys like Kellen Moore, who's a really good offensive coordinator. You have guys who didn't really make it as players. I feel like the middling players are often the best coaches like Byron Leftwich, with Tampa might be a decent example of that. Dan Campbell was never a great tight end, but he's doing great things in Detroit, and now Detroit's winning games because he's lit a spark under their asses, and it's good.
Wouldn't it be great to have that coach here?
Oh man, right? He would fit so well. we need a culture fit. We need a guy who's got that dog in him, who's not afraid to go at it with the media.
Yeah. I agree. I think the coaches that we have now. Yeah, they're just. And granted, I hear nowadays players respond, or that old style of coaching of fire and brimstone. Players don't respond to that nowadays. They kind of respond to talking to them a bit more like a human being instead of yelling at them.
Workaholic type coach. Yeah.
But I want somebody that's just with Harbaugh, just attention to details.
Right.
And
there is a balance. You could be if there's a guy like Harbaugh who's, probably going to be in the facility at 4 a.m. every morning, working his ass off, and he's yelling at players, and, he's demanding a lot of them, and he's celebrating with them when things go well. And, that's when it works, because that's good leadership, because you're showing, I'm putting this much work in. What are you going to do? Right.
But we're moving as one.
Don't see it with Eberflus.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, you can already. It is, but we can only say that for so long.
Yeah.
Before we know it's going to be week 5, week 6. We can't be like, oh, it's still early. We still got,
we're only on 6.
12 more games.
Turn it around.
It's just we can maybe say that in another week or 2, and then after that, it's just no. We're 4 weeks into the season. If we're 0-4,
honestly, it sucks it really does suck that we're gonna have Sunday. I'm gonna I'll watch the game regular. I'll get really hyped for it, and we're probably gonna watch another L. And it just sucks knowing we're probably gonna be 0-3 going into that home game against Denver, and hopefully they somehow pull a rabbit out of their hat and win this week. But I don't love our chances. And
we're going to need Kansas City's help.
Yes.
We're going to need Kansas City's help in order for us to win. They're going to have to help us win.
And Matt Nagy's good for that. He's good for helping defenses every now and then.
Yes. So we got that going for us.
We know it's a thing for him. So yeah. Anyway, we've been on almost an hour. So we're probably about to. We are going to wrap up just about now. It's been great hosting with you, Crooked Commish. Sorry, it sucks to wallow in our misery.
I can be an honest guy when I want to be.
Yeah. Hopefully, in the future, we're able to unironically talk about how good the Bears are and how things are firing on all cylinders and whatnot. But I feel like that day is very much in the future.
I want to know what it feels like to break a 12-game losing streak.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I want to know what that feels like. So hopefully we can do that on Sunday.
And next week I'll be like, I want to know what it feels like to break a 13-game losing streak. Oh my god!
Hopefully we don't have to say that. Hopefully we can be like, man, I wonder what it feels like. Do I remember what it feels like to win back-to-back games?
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Feels
like I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Feels like we haven't won back-to-back games. When's the last time the Bears have won back-to-back games? I'm gonna look this up real quick, and this will be my last nugget.
Christ.
Bears full schedule. Let's see, because I know we didn't last year. Last year our wins were against New England, Houston, and San Francisco, but none of them were consecutive.
Correct.
Let's see. I think
maybe Nagy's last year.
Yeah, Nagy's last year we beat the Seahawks in that crazy game, 25-24. Nick Foles started, and then we beat the Giants 29-3. But we were already eliminated, so.
Oh, that was towards the end of the season?
Yeah, it was towards the end of the season, so it didn't even fucking matter. But that's the last time. Before that, I think we had I think we beat the Lions and the Raiders twice in a row that year. In some weird games. But being I think
it's starting to get longer than I want it to be.
Yeah, no, for real. For real. Anyway, like I said, been a pleasure being on with you, man. And
yes, thank you guys.
Hopefully around this time next week, we're all just talking about how awesome the Bears are. And as always,
did you want to give any shout outs to the chat or anything like that? Or
oh yeah, of course. Shout out mainly Jeremy for tuning in the chat.
Yes,
Always a
thank you,
pleasure
Jeremy.
having you. And all the other viewers who didn't really contribute but who are in the comments lurking. I see you. I appreciate it. And obviously shout out to Chicago Clubhouse Network. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a lot of great content every day of the week. It's a lot of fun. And as always, feel free to tell me if I am full of
I think
crap.
I'm full of crap. I think I have to be just like some idiot who's full of crap. Please